Hi, my name's Mike Rushton from Tamarack Outdoors and welcome to episode 3 of the Outdoorsman Series. In this DVD we're going to concentrate on safe axe work and felling a tree with an axe, different tarp constructions, some modern ways of lighting fire, and also how to feed yourself. On my way down to the river, just as a point of interest, I just stopped at this big holly tree. It's a real good place to find tinder. So let's have a look in and see what we can find. This hanging freely, this is the tinder from the holly, air dried. Absolutely brilliant for starting a fire. And the actual firewood itself burns really well if it's well seasoned, quite hot and quite long. And then move on down the river. Maybe wondering what these things are that I've been carrying with my rucksack. These are things called ribs, and they actually store everything that I need throughout the day. So now I'm going to light a fire. I've come down on this gravel bar next to the river for a couple of reasons really. One, just at the back of me here there's lots of plants coming into leaf. As mentioned before, we're in early spring, so I don't want to affect those. And two, I don't have to prepare my ground so much. All I've done here is just dug up some of the fine sandy material, and I'm going to light the fire directly on this, so I've not much preparation. As always, make a raft, so I've just got 3 birch sticks here. But I'm going to light this fire with this stuff. This is called Hamaro paper, and it's wax impregnated paper. Rip a strip down, 1 and 2. 2 of the strips I just roll around my index finger and then place on the raft. Then the third one I just break over my index finger and try and expose the inside of the paper itself. So this bit is what I need just for the initial ignition, and then here I've organised all my firewood ready to go. And I just support the Hamaro paper and just scrape. I'm using it at a slight angle. I'm using this thumb here just to hold the tinder back. And I get a tinder bundle around about that big. Make your tinder bundle quite high so it will get oxygen into it on the initial ignition. And then I take the log away and then put that on the ground. And then the same technique as in other episodes, fist on the ground, move the fire steel back and light the paper. And there we go. Place this on top of your sticks. The bit that you ripped off, just get that going. And then place on your circular bits. Then from there then, tinder bundles broke into 2. Get that on there and on the top. And then with your next grade on, your pencil to finger thick. And there we go. Now I'm going to gather some water and get a pot of water on for coffee. Obviously, as a good outdoorsman, no trace policy. Everything's been saturated with water, there's only ash left anyway. So now it's time to move on to find a main camp for the evening. What I've been doing as I'm approaching camp, I'm looking for trees that I can fell, because tonight I've got no sleeping bag, I've got no sleeping mat, so I'm going to sleep next to a long fire underneath a tarp, so I need plenty of firewood. Well, I've got my shelter for the night up. This is a Hellsport gapper hook. It's really great because you've got this thing overhanging where I'm actually sleeping, so if it does rain in the night, my drip line is sort of like down here away from me. Not only that, I can actually fold it back in under itself and use the extent of it as a ground sheet also. In the back area here, that's great for storing your equipment. Tonight I'm actually going to sleep against a long fire. A long fire is a fire made of a series of logs that are round about my height, round about 6 foot long, and built up in a 3-2-1 configuration. First of all, to conserve firewood, I'm just going to light a small fire here. I'm just going to make myself a quick bannock. My recipe for this is quite easy. When I'm out here, I actually pre-mix it back at home. So it's 2 cupfuls of plain flour, 1 cupful of coffee mate, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Add a little bit of water. Just flour the fingers so the dough doesn't stick to them. And there you go, that's my bannock mix. The cooking method I'm going to do is this green stick. This is a piece of hazel, the same piece we cut from down the river. But first of all, just need to take this outer bark off and put a point on the wider end. So using a chest grip, just a 4-cut point, that's all you need. And then round about 2/3 up, I've just gone round, just going right across the grain, just down to bark depth. And then using the back of the knife, I actually just strip that. There we go, nice clean rod. So I actually heat this up now in the fire to get this actual quite hot to the touch but not scorched. And then when I actually place the bannock on, because this is hot, the bannock welds to the green stick, and then I can put it by the fire to start cooking. So now my bannock's cooked, sharpen a little thin stick and just push the stick into the bread, and if it comes out clean, it's worth doing it in several areas. That means it's cooked. So that's spot on. Once I've ate and drank this, then I need to go fell some firewood for tonight's long fire. We're going to fell the tree that I've identified with an axe. When you're actually using an axe, especially for felling, which I'm going to show you shortly, is you've got to be aware of this frontal zone. The frontal zone is depicted by these 2 pieces of hazel. This is a danger area. The area within here is a danger area, so no work should be carried out within that frontal zone, for obvious reasons, because that's where you are. Always try and work outside of the frontal zone, so coming in and working outside like so, or like so. So I've identified this tree to be felled. I've done the moisture test, as in the other 2 episodes. Birches are renowned for actually snapping out of the top, so the first thing I have to do is a shock test. If anything breaks off, I can actually get out of the way quite quick. Okay, another test to do as well is with an axe like this. just do a test like that, keeping your eye up in the crown to see if anything comes down. No, this is safe to fell. So first of all I need to put my first felling cut in, my sink cut or gob cut. And I've put the 2 pieces of hazel within my frontal zone just to depict that I'm actually going to work outside of that, in that safe area. Then first of all I'll start at a 45-degree angle, coming in like this, nice steady strokes. Every now and again just look into your sink cut. Still working outside of this frontal zone, remember. Okay, I'm going to go in about 1/4 to 1/5 of the diameter. Then I move on and do my back cut. The back cut should be slightly higher to ensure the tree tips over. So I'm actually starting a lot higher up the tree, round about here, to come chop down at 45 degrees, just slightly above the bottom of that sink cut. So I'm still working outside my frontal zone, so on nice steady strokes. Being aware that I'm on one knee, if that starts to crack and move, which I think it will do because it's leaning slightly that way anyway, then I can escape into my escape route. Okay, not far to go now. And she's going, so escape, reverse up. Well, there we go, tree safely fell. So tonight with my long fire I'm going to need a reflector. The reflector sits on the other side of the fire away from me and reflects heat from the fire back into the shelter. So you can see I've got some spruce logs. The fire's going to be set back quite away from there because obviously I don't want the reflector to catch on fire. Now I'm going to light my long fire, and this is my method of doing it. I'm actually going to light 3 separate fires using Hamaro paper, and I've had to do quite a bit of preparation first. I'm going to do 3 fires, get those to establishment, and then introduce initially 3 seasoned spruce logs. And then once those spruce logs have established, then I'm going to move on to the birch logs that I felled earlier. One log on. And another. And then the third one in between the 2. Just as a point to note on safety, if for example the reflector catches fire in the night or a log rolls off onto where you are and sets fire to the ground, I always keep to hand 10 litres of water. That's quite important, that's happened once to me before. Camp's established now. Got a good store of firewood in the back of the tarp here just for placing on when they're all over in the night, just to keep me warm. I'm well fed thanks to the fish and the bannock and the coffee. So there's a lovely smell, aromas of the spruce and the birch smoke. It's really, really pleasant. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. and we'll see you next time.